This is looking like a dish to die for. So here in a saucepan, I'm starting off with our ground beef. So this is a 73% lean, 27% fat. And I just got it started with some onions. And we're just cooking these together until the onions are translucent. You can see that we wanted to choose the fattier ground beef because you see all the juice that is coming out of it. That is exactly what we want. And it's going to add so much flavor to this recipe. I like to add in our seasoning. So of course I got to throw in some taco seasoning because this stuff is just too flavorful. And I'm telling you, the flavor is just always consistent. But I am going to pair it up with something special today. So this is a roasted garlic Asiago. I'm not going to do too much of this, but just enough to kind of get that roasted garlic flavor in there. And when you marry these two seasonings together, it makes for a perfect recipe. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it around just to make sure all of the seasonings get coated in the ground beef. So at this point, once you got all of the ingredients covered in the seasonings, we're going to add in some bell peppers. So I like throwing these bell peppers after I get all the seasonings, just because when you cook the bell peppers with the onions, sometimes they tend to get like black and burn, and then they stain in the pan and everything. So I like throwing them in after all this just to make sure that they don't burn. Just going to give those a quick mix before I throw in our Rotel tomatoes. And I am leaving the juice as well. So all of the juice from these ingredients are just going to help make our sauce that much better. And I'm going to pair it up with some fire roasted tomatoes. So this is such a good combination of tomatoes. This fire roasted just add a ton of flavor that the Rotel tomatoes don't have, like the fire roasted flavor. So you can see that some of the tomatoes are a little bit charred. Just go ahead and give this a mix. You just want to make sure you're stirring it constantly. We don't want anything to burn. And this is looking super tasty already. I cannot wait. So at this point, we are going to turn our stove down to low because everything in here is cooked, but we just want to keep the heat going a little bit. And I'm going to throw in just a touch of heavy cream, not too much because it already is pretty saucy, but just a touch. This is just going to help thicken it up a little bit. Just go ahead and stir that in. You can see how easily it melts in. Once that is stirred in, you're going to want to pick up a queso blanco. So you can use the Velveeta or this queso blanco that I got. We're just going to dump a bunch of this in here. So the one thing I will say with this recipe is that you want to use a really big pan because you can see it is getting pretty full. But don't worry, I'm going to make sure everything fits. Just go ahead and stir it. Make sure it is on low though because everything is already cooked, so we don't want this to be too hot. You can see that we're getting this nice and velvety sauce. So we do have just a couple steps more. So I'm going to throw in some crushed red chili flakes. And the reason I'm doing that is because I like to have a nice balance in my meals. So we already have the creaminess from the heavy cream and the queso. We got the freshness and we got garlic in there. So it just needs a tiny bit of chili flakes. And I'm telling you, it's just going to be a well-balanced dish. So once you have that in there, for the final step, here I have my angel hair pasta. And I've seen recipes online where they throw the pasta in with the sauce to have it cook, but I just like having the pasta cooked already because you get it to the perfect al dente that you want. Or, you know, if you like your noodles softer, you can control that better if you just boil it. And then you get some of the starchy water in there that's really going to bring the sauce together. So I'm just going to stir that in, and isn't this looking fantastic? I've never thought of making like a taco spaghetti before. I saw it online, and so I was like, I need to try this. And let me tell you, it smells amazing, and I bet that it's going to taste even better. And as you can see, this is looking like a dish to die for. So I'm just going to serve myself a big plate, and we will see how it tastes. And boy, am I hungry. So I think I'm absolutely just going to love this. It has all of my favorite things with ground beef and Rotel tomatoes. And you know what? This sauce is really nice. It came out nice and thick, exactly how I like it. It is really hot though. Okay, so I was a little bit skeptical because I'm like, taco spaghetti, how is that gonna be good? But oh my God. I think this is one that I'm just gonna have to make over and over again for myself. Yum.